Hello everyone, and today we're going to be looking at Archangel. Now, Archangel is a game that you are in a mech. Some people have called it Gundam VR Simulator. I can see where they're coming from. It's like Riggs, except... Actually, I guess it's not at all like Riggs. Riggs is a game, if you've never played it, where you have total control. You play with your DualShock. This game, you can play, I think, with the DualShock, but you can also play with the Move controllers, which is what I elected to do here. Now, I'm going to be talking over the tutorial voiceovers here because it's the tutorial. If you buy the game and play it yourself, you're going to get to hear it on your own time. Now, since it is available for the Move controllers, like I said, it is an on-rail shooter. Now, I know a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like that. In my opinion, it just works. The reason? Because if you're using the Move controllers like me, you have enough on your mind to begin with than worrying about where I need to go in the level. And to be fair, the levels are kind of the way they're designed. It wouldn't really matter anyway, considering there's only one way you can go. Now, the punching controls, not difficult, but a little wonky to get used to. Excuse me, if you're using the Move controllers, all you have to do is hold the button on the front and make a punching motion. Took me a little while to get used to it, but you will use that in the game. You can also use it to punch actual enemies if you get the timing right. Now, as for the guns, as you can see, you simply hold the back of the Move controller. It's very intuitive, and once you get used to it, very fast aiming that way. I prefer it to the Riggs aiming with your face kind of thing, but I don't know, I really like the way the aiming system works in this, because once you get used to it, it's very, you can just snap to enemies just by pointing at them. Similar to other, shooters, I guess, if you use the Move controllers, but to be fair, I haven't played exactly a lot of shooters on the PSVR, so... as far as everything else goes, you might go, well, both your arms have weapons. Doesn't that make it difficult to aim if you're doing that? If you're not, like, ambidextrous? A little at first. But we're just scratching the surface. Because, well, not only do you have the two weapons, you also have shields. Now, the shields are very important. The shields are something that you have on both arms. You cannot fire a weapon while you're using the shield, but you can use the other arm's weapon. So if you use your left shield, you can use your right weapon, and vice versa. This becomes, exceedingly important, well, when you actually get into combat. Now, I think this was the tutorial for the grabbing the nano things. I screwed it up really badly. But after this, it gets a bit easier once you get used to where they want you to actually be at. As you can see, I missed those pretty badly. This is the healing system, so if you're not very good at this, you're not going to heal very much. But, yeah, it's not that bad once you get used to it, but at first, it's not good. I would have preferred something like, I don't know, get a certain amount of health at a certain point instead of making you do it. I think they did it just so you can feel like you did something to get healed. But I'd imagine when you miss, which I've never missed in a level yet, you'd get very annoyed. Now the shields, they don't last all that long, and they have to recharge. Now there is an upgrade, which we'll get into later. There's an upgrade for them. However, I do not recommend you take this the first upgrade like I did. It works pretty well for the second level, but the second level's boss, not so much. Now there are boss levels, or boss fights, there are mini boss fights, but they're not really that bad. At least on normal difficulty, they're not that bad. I wouldn't go above normal for a first time playing this, however, so keep that in mind. Now, like I said before, you cannot use your weapons while you're using the shield, so you end up usually taking on using a shield in one hand and firing with the other hand. Now, sometimes you have to switch very quickly, and this can cause a bit of confusion when you're not used to it. But that's about the extent of it, so let's get into the actual levels here, because I didn't want to spoil any story. I'm not going to do that. It's not a great story, but it's not a bad one either. Besides, we're not playing this for the story. We're playing this because we want to be a giant-ass mech pilot. So, yes, I'm still talking over the voices, but that's mainly because I don't want to have to try and talk over them while hearing it in my ear at the same time. So I may end up taking this commentary out because I'm not really saying anything. Anyway, As you can see, the gameplay is just about like this. The movement, when the mech is moving, obviously I'm not doing that. You can only move forward when all the enemies are either dead or they're gone. I think some of them also, I think if you miss some and they go off screen, it's fine, because I know I didn't kill every single thing in some of these areas. But the main thing is you survive. If you die, and I did die a couple times, if you die, you get a choice of restarting the whole level or restarting from the last checkpoint. I don't know if there's a difference in your score. I would assume that there is, but the score is very important in this, because the higher your score at the end of the level, well, the more upgrade points that you have. That's your upgrade points, your score. I would assume, I do not know this, I would assume that the higher your score, the higher the difficulty, excuse me, the higher the score. I don't know that. They might have taken an inverse look at it. Like, well, you want a hard game, you get less upgrades. I don't know. I've only done normal, okay? Now, some of the enemies in this, as you saw, that thing just flew right into me. I don't know if the shield actually does anything with that. I didn't look at the health bar during the times I did that. But you actually feel like a juggernaut. Of course, you're not really a juggernaut. You see my health is about 70%. Not exactly great by this point. But, you really do feel like you are, well, a walking death machine. Now, at times, you're going to run into objects that you can't quite break through or get around. Or, excuse me, you can't get around. You're going to have to break through it. This is not quite one of those times quite yet, but we'll run into that here in a minute. But it's mainly just a shooter. It's not bad, but it takes a little getting used to. Actually, I quite enjoy it. I played it for about an hour earlier. Normally, I can't play VR games for longer than, 45 minutes. I played this for about an hour. Of course, this is also the game I always wanted on VR, a mech game. That part of it cannot be ignored. If you like mech, and you've always wanted to have a VR mech game, I highly recommend getting this. It's not the best. Of course, actually, I don't know if it is the best now. But, I mean, the best would be having move controllers with joysticks. I assume that Sony's going to do that later. I don't know that. I hope so, though, desperately. I say that because, well, Skyrim VR is coming out next year, I think. And that's move controller enabled, so you'd think that would be... I'm getting off topic now, I'm sorry. But later, in the second level, I'm assuming beyond, some units will be shielded. Now, you can't break through with brute force, trust me. I tried. That was one of the times I died. I tried to just brute force missile shooting at them. So you might wonder how you're supposed to do it. Well, there are shield generators. You take those out, then you shoot them. Easy enough, if you are actually observant. You cannot just brute force everything. So you need to keep that in mind in the later levels. You also do have backup, as you see your friendly, teammates over there in the flying crafts, so... I think you can shoot them. I just don't know if you can do damage. Just try not to shoot them, if you can help it. You do see a big red X when you hover over them, so I'd assume that you can't. But I'm pretty sure I have fired a shot once or twice at them. Yeah, that right there. So, generally speaking, try not to do that. So there's another healing portion. Like I said, once you get used to it, it's really not terribly difficult to get all the healing. But to be fair, I think I only really need one canister, but... yeah, as you move forward in the game, however, you do get newer weapons than just your machine gun and your single rocket or missile launcher. We'll get to that here right after we destroy this bridge, because this is highlighting the clearing the debris tutorial of sorts. We went over this once before in the tutorial, but we can actually punch destructible environments. And in the process, if you don't do what I did here, probably kill everybody on the bridge before, you need to shoot them. But yes, as you proceed through the game, you will unlock new weapons. Now, new weapons are exceedingly useful and quite fun to use. As soon as I cut forward here, which shouldn't take all that much longer. Excuse me, I edited this before. I don't quite remember where I did this. I'm sorry. It's not very professional on me. It's my bad. But this is just highlighting how you really need to pay attention as to where you're getting shot at from. I'm not the most observant man at all times, so it took me a little while to find them over in the corner there. So here we go. You get your new weapon, and it's the Predator missile cluster. This is a godsend in this level because there's a ton of flying ships, and it's hard to aim a non-tracking rocket at them. This made this a heck of a lot easier, and I kind of wish they gave this as the default rocket launcher or missile launcher. It would have made the first level much easier, though I see why they didn't do it. The way that works is you hold the missile button, track over what you want to shoot at, and it automatically locks on, and then you let go. Very easy to use, very fun to see things go boom. Now, towards the end, when you get through the massacres, and there will be a lot of massacring, we're in a shooter after all. Once you get done with the heavy massacre and all the explosions and all the sweet FX, feeling like you're in a mech, you're going to end up going to the upgrade screen. And the upgrade screen, it's minimalist, but it works very well, which we'll be getting into here in about 5 seconds. Looking at the timeline now, I should have started this a little later, but oopsie, here we go anyway. So we're in the upgrade screen right about now. You can use your move controllers. You can upgrade different aspects of your mech, ranging from your hull integrity, which is basically your health and max health, to your weapon systems, which right now I'm looking at armor because I took quite a beating there. Your shields, which I upgraded, which the one upgrade I got was upgrading the duration to double. Very useful, but not for the second level. Upgrading your machine gun. I don't have enough for the second upgrade, so the third upgrade I can't see because obviously I haven't unlocked whatever it is yet. The Predator missiles, they won't allow you to upgrade quite yet because that'd be a little OP, I guess. But yeah, you get to choose your upgrades. So you want to get a higher score. So there is an RPG tint to it, just not a real heavy tint, but a nice one nonetheless.
This looks good.
Obviously, I'm a defensive kind of guy. I went shields and then hull integrity. Probably not what you probably should do, but, you know, I think it's viable either way. Not sure in the higher difficulties, but that's it. Now, you can also talk to your fellow teammates.
Hey, Guardian. You alright?
Why?
You just seemed a little bloodthirsty out there.
We smashed our way through a major humanics force. You got a problem with that?
You know what I'm saying. Just want to make sure we got our priorities straight.
I have the priorities of a soldier. Deliver maximum damage to the enemy while enduring the minimum damage to you and your fellow soldiers.
Sure. But when you can choose only one, what are you gonna
It's
pick?
nice for a bit of story progression, and you know what else? You can also talk to your onboard AI.
How are you feeling, Captain?
I'm fine, M1.
Fine is not a feeling, Captain.
I'm not in the mood for a therapy session, M1.
And that's just about it, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you next time. Farewell, everyone, until then.